Peace be upon you. This is your brother Emmanuel. It's that time of the year when we talk about our book recommendations that you should read this year to make it better than any year you've experienced so far. Today we will talk about 5 books that I really want to suggest to you. A collection of books that we read or useful books that can greatly benefit us. In fact, I chose 5 books that are suitable for everyone, and I believe everyone should understand them at some stage or another in their life. However, some of these books should be started this year, specifically the first book we'll talk about today. I will give you a quick overview of each book, not a summary, but generally what the book is about and how you can benefit from it. Without further ado, as we are excited, let's begin. The first book is to renew the information you have about this book, which is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Atomic Habits is very simple in principle. It talks about habits, and from its name, atomic habits, which are the tiny habits, the atomic habits that help you significantly improve your life. I love this book for the simplicity of its presentation and because its application is something any one of us can easily implement in our lives without major complications. For example, this book contains many beautiful things and is not very complicated, meaning it's not very long or won't take much of your time to read. What's beautiful is that it divides the rules into 4 laws. It's beautiful that it talks about methodical steps that fall under 4 laws, meaning it has laws on how to build habits. In 4 steps, the first law is to make it clear, the second is to make it attractive, the third is to make it easy, and the 4th law, which is to make it satisfying. Satisfying, of course, for your ambitions and desire to work on the project, on the presentation, study for the exam. You always feel resistance against leaving your comfort zone and doing this. So James Clear suggests in his book Atomic Habits that you tell yourself you'll only work for 2 minutes, or study for the exam for just 2 minutes, or start organizing your home for only 2 minutes. In most cases, after 2 minutes, you'll find that you've entered the flow and the smoothness of the action, and you'll say, okay, I've started, and once you're in the mood, you'll continue the work, the achievement, or the study, or whatever you want to do. It's a beautiful and truly effective method that you can try to get out of your comfort zone and start achieving with the 2-minute rule. There are many beautiful things in this book, so don't miss reading it and starting. The second book is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, which I have read more than once. This book is not a self-help book per se. It's not a book with steps and theoretical matters, but rather a novel written by Paulo Coelho about a person and his journey in discovering himself and rediscovering himself. I believe that anyone who reads this book will start to think and reflect on what is in the book and the stages that the main character goes through in the book on their personal life. It's a short novel, not very long, about 200 pages, but it really gives you such a beautiful energy when you read it. And the beautiful thing is that the main character is an Arab person from the Arab culture. Enjoy reading this book. The third book is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. This is one of the most beautiful books written on personal development. Believe it or not, this book is almost 2,000 years old. According to historians, it began to be written between 161 and 180 AD, nearly 2,000 years ago. What's strange about this book is that its author was a significant military leader of his time. He was considered a very great ruling emperor. This book was not intended for publication. It is the notes that Marcus Aurelius, the military leader, ruler, and emperor, wrote for himself. The beauty here is that you are reading a dialogue of this person with himself from 2,000 years ago, and you will find that many of the problems and challenges he faced are still encountered by you today, and by any one of us, even after 2,000 years. He offers some solutions, and what's beautiful is that he always suggests that you look at things from a global, universal perspective and always review your judgment of yourself and things, because your judgment of yourself, things, or people around you is not necessarily correct. It's a very beautiful book, and I advise you to have a paper copy of it and always refer back to it. You can read a few pages from it every now and then. It gives you such beautiful energy and provides you with beautiful information and refreshes and renews your view of yourself in a very beautiful way. My beautiful friend, surely in our journey with books and beautiful personal development. The fourth book, it is a book about relationships. The book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus suggests that this book may contain some information that cannot be applied or is theoretical. Yes, but a significant part of this book gives you a very good glimpse into the differences in thinking between men and women. This is the main message of the book. The mind of a woman thinks differently than the mind of Many of the problems that occur between the sexes are due to differences in thinking. It is a misunderstanding resulting from each side's ignorance of the other's way of thinking. So, if you have the key and understand how the other party thinks, we can reduce many of the problems that occur in our social and marital relationships, which often cause significant issues leading to divorce. We can simplify them very simply when we understand the basic principles found in this beautiful book. The fifth book one suggests this book even if you are not married yet, or even if you are married and do not have children. It is a very important book called The Book You Wish Your Parents Had Read. It is a book about parenting and dealing with children and teenagers. Indeed, this book is beneficial whether you are a son or a father or mother. It is a very beautiful book that gives us wonderful insights into parenting and dealing with children and teenagers, even if they are not your own. For example, even if you are a teacher in a school or deal with different age stages, regardless of your field of work or specialty, this book is very useful. Indeed, I wanted to diversify, meaning if you notice, the group I suggested consists of varied books, not all specifically in self-development. There is philosophy in self-development, but there are also novels, actual self-development, reflections on social matters, and issues in education. I believe that a successful person who develops himself is one who develops himself in a comprehensive way. Translate this for me in English. And an additional suggestion I want to propose to you is to read two very important books. The first book is a blank book. I always suggest that every year, or not necessarily every year but always, you should have a blank book to write down your thoughts. This book is one that you will author yourself. You buy it empty, but you write in it every day your thoughts, reflections, things you have learned. It's a wonderful habit, the habit of the great and successful people, which is writing personal diaries or what they call a journal. Writing your thoughts on paper gives you the opportunity to understand yourself better, to solve your problems that you feel are big in your life, but then you discover that these problems are unnecessary or not as valuable as you imagined. When you write down your thoughts, problems, and challenges that you go through in your life, this habit gives you the opportunity to always have better judgment on things and better solutions to problems. I always have around me, always, small and large notebooks of various sizes wherever I go. It's a very wonderful habit, and one of the habits that changed my life significantly for the better, and I recommend it to you. Also, since we're talking about books, I'd like to suggest that if you like to have an easy and distinctive way to plan and write goals and know your personal values and mission in life, there is a beautiful, light, and pleasant book called How to Succeed Before You Start. Many people have read this book and benefited from it. It gives you concepts in a simplified way, especially if you want to start planning for the new month. It greatly helps you to define goals that resemble you, and this is the point I like to focus on in the book How to Succeed, that not all goals suit you. You may think that your goal is such and such, but many of the goals are ones that society has convinced us of, and they are goals that do not suit us. The goals that suit us are those that align with our mission in life and our deep values, and here you take yourself on a journey to discover your deep values and discover your mission. If you like this video, share it with those you love. Thank you for your invaluable time.